Another week. Last week was a little nuts. It was a little too much for me. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little bit of one of those weeks. All is good though. We are back. And are we ever fucking back? Holy shit. What a week. Of course it's Double or Nothing week. We will of course get into that in depth. But I am just grateful to be back doing this damn thing, man. I mean, it was nice to get a week off. It was, nice to kind of recharge, think about. I think it really sort of fucked me up to get to 100 episodes of this show because I really didn't think it would happen so fast. And in a weird way, it isn't fast because a lot of people probably don't realize, and especially if you only know this show from this YouTube channel, if you're watching on YouTube, that I've been doing this thing for a long time. In fact, the first episode of TWW goes all the way back to like December of 2020. That's how long I've been doing this show in particular. I've done podcasts off and on forever, though. And it's really surreal for me to actually have something that I've done, for 100 episodes. I mean, I really was at a place not too long ago where I just had no creative juices at all. I was not interested. I was done. And I was not a happy human being. My wife basically was like, hey, you need to do what makes you happy, because I can tell you're not fucking happy right now. And because I obviously don't want my wife to hate me, I thought, well, what is it that I love to do? And I love to just fucking jaw jack about pro wrestling to you fucking people, you sicko fucking people. That's what I love to do. And thank God around that same time, I met most of the Sickos Club people. And the rest is really history, man. I mean, you guys have really propped me up now for a good, at least year, I feel like. Maybe more, in one way or the other. And I really appreciate the support that I've gotten from Crockett to Chaos has become a thing now. I think episode 100 really made me sort of step back and be like, woo, what do I want to do? What's the next move, right? And that's probably a good sign. I'm not looking to hang it up at all. In fact, I'm like, I want to do more stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to, cram more shit into a 5-pound bag, if you will. Trying to put 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag. That's what I'm trying to do with the channel on YouTube. Thinking about branching out as well. There's a lot of different platforms out there. You guys let me know what you enjoy media on, and I'll probably get one of the shows at the very least, on that platform. But enough of that sappy shit. Let's get into some pro fucking wrestling. Last night was Dynamite from Rio Rancho, New Mexico, right outside of Albuquerque. Let me just say right off the bat, you guys in Albuquerque, what the fuck? What was the deal last night? Like, you guys were all over the place. Now, I think you ended up kind of getting back on track and really showing up, especially for that All Stars Trios match. But fuck, like this shit here, this opener with Hanger and Ospreay, a great in-ring promo to promo situation. And I don't understand why the fuck the reaction was what it was. It was very strange. We start off here, of course, with Hanger in the ring. Ospreay comes out with him. He starts off with, hey, hey, Hangman, do you drink? I'm not trying to be anyway. I had a couple. It's that situation. Very manosphere sort of shit, right? Like, let's go sit down and drink one, bro. Let's like hash it out, bro. That's what this was. But it was good. It was super good. And, Ospreay goes back into it to make it very clear. He said, I right now in this ring am petitioning Tony Khan to make our match for the Owen Hart Cup the main event of Double or Nothing. And he even admits, he says, and that is saying something, that we would follow the bedlam of Anarchy in the arena, but he believes that they can do it, and he believes that it is worth it. And you know what? I kind of agree, because if you think about it, this is a de facto world championship match in a lot of ways. I think we all sort of assume whoever goes to All In against Jon Moxley will win the title. So whether it's Hangman or Ospreay, I think we all sort of know they're leaving Arlington, Texas, the world champion. And they get into that here. Ospreay is like, hey, listen, it's more than the Owen, of course. It's that shot at the world title. I shot my shot for All In. He has been vocal from forever. I mean, like way before it made sense, they've had Ospreay coming out here and putting over that he wants to be in the main event of All In. So it's great. And, he basically rips into Hangman. He's like, I show up, I do all this shit. Hangman, he's just not there. Basically, this is almost like a heel situation with Ospreay, honestly. I almost half expected him to turn heel here. And I'll be honest, if this was in WWE, he probably would have turned heel. But I thought it was fun to do that. It really does put over the importance of the World Championship, and that is the biggest thing a lot of people have criticized AEW about as of late, is this idea that they are shitting on the world title. I think that's so asinine. In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think they've put the world title in a briefcase and put it aside to make it mean more. If you see, fucking Ospreay has been screaming about this fucking title for like 8 weeks already. Okay, Hangman's been worried about, an existential crisis over here. And then, the one guy the two guys, in fact, that have been all about it from day one have been Adam Copeland and Jay White. Of course, both men either really off on the shelf or kayfabe off the shelf. Either way, this is a great way to make the Owen important. I think there's no doubt this is the biggest Owen final ever. But also, above all that, it makes the World Championship matter again. These two guys are the top two guys. And, of course, I think Swerve's the top guy in all of AEW. But I think in terms of the world title scene right now, absolutely Ospreay and Hangman are in that. Hangman then cuts a legendary Hangman promo here. He's like, okay, well, that's the difference between you and me, Ospreay. You just really want the world title. I need this. He's like, I've been through hell the last 2 years. No one understands that. This is the light at the end of my tunnel. And, Ospreay basically goes, okay, well, what are you going to do then? What are you going to do? You going to hurt me? You going to retire me? Because I have the ability to do that to you. And they go into this thing and they sort of heal it up both together, right? Hangman just is like, do you think you have enough to beat the Death Riders? I don't know. And Ospreay even says, I don't know if I do, but we're going to find out. And Sunday, I'm giving you everything I got. Hangman basically says the same. And this was good shit. This is what you do when you got two really white hot baby faces and you put them together. Allude to the heel stuff, make it a little gray. But at the end of this, both guys walk out of the ring really kind of together in a weird way. They're staring at each other. But I liked this. I think a lot of people will not. I'm sure people already, if I went on social media before I recorded this, are shitting all over it. Who cares? But in all honesty, this does what it needs to do. I'm very excited for Sunday now. I can't fucking wait to see that match. I think these two guys are going to have an all-timer. They just keep having all-timers. Every single time we see either of these guys, Hangman or Will Ospreay, they're having the match of the night and one of the best matches we've seen in fucking ages. So with that said, we open Wrestling in the Ring with the All-Star Trios match. Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks against Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Swerve Strickland. This was all kinds of fucking awesome. I keep saying it that I really think that AEW has hit gold with the multi-man tag formula. They just have hit the the sweet spot. They know how to do it. And it's not like there's not a nucleus that keeps, this thing anchored either. Usually in the past, when you have a situation like this, you'll have like one or two talents that are always in that kind of match to make sure that, it's together and cohesive. It's like back in the day in WWE, if they were going to do a ladder match, especially a multi-man like Money in the Bank, you knew Edge, Christian, one of the Hardys, or the Dudleys was going to be in that fucker because they knew how to make it move around. Whereas with AEW, they're like, hey, we're all so good. Let's just throw us all together. And this was a beautiful match. I loved that they did exactly what, again, when you want to talk about psychology, they had it here. Powerhouse's knee gets fucking destroyed in this match. It's all about cutting him down. Same with Joe. Swerve then, of course, de facto becomes the selling babyface that's having to make saves most of this match. He's a bad motherfucker, though. So after a while, it gets to a point where he's like, you know what? I'll save myself. And the Bucks are the Bucks. I think they have hit their stride. That long, time off, I think, has done wonders for the Young Bucks. They came back and they look great. And Moxley had his working boots on here. He was doing fucking dives. He was on the top of his game. I think he has been for a long time. I think the bad / slow booking of the Death Riders situation has really stuck a lot of shit on Jon Moxley that I think is unfair and incorrect, because I think he's a hellified worker. He's one of the very best in the world, and he showed that here. And this was, again, just great stuff, a great preview of Anarchy in the Arena. We'll get to another one later. We get to the point where the Bucks have it, dead to rights. They've got Swerve for the EVP trigger. He ducks out. He gets a flash roll up for the win, but the Death Riders come in and they start whooping ass. Claudio and Marina. Shibata comes back. He starts whooping ass. Marina gets in the ring. Willow comes down, spears the shit out of her to a big reaction, and Kenny Omega comes out, and the place loses their mind. He's taking Wheeler Yuta out, Claudio, Matt Jackson, and then he's got him up. It looks like he's going to do a one-winged, and he hilariously, Matt Jackson gets just fucking plucked like a flower by Claudio. It looks so effortless how Claudio comes behind and just whoop, like a little baby, and walks to the other side of the ring, and they get the fuck out of there. This was great. We've got in the back, oh God, this is great. Mark Sterling with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. And they're just, they're dotting their I's. They're crossing their T's. Don't worry about it. Lawyer stuff. It couldn't go bad. And that leads us to this right here. We could do, I love how I didn't even have the All-Star. There you go. The All-Star for the YouTube people. I fucked up the whole thing. Didn't even have the image. We're back, folks. All right, that's all you need to know. The show is back in full form. I'm fucking up everywhere. I feel good about it. So anyway, MJF Hurt Syndicate. What did it all lead to? It happened, folks. MJF with the goofy NFL draft hat on. It was signed, sealed, and delivered. Bob, good old Bob Lashley, did sort of sell like, am I going to really fucking sign this contract? And MVP's like, you're going to sign that, bro. We need to do this angle. And they did the angle. And man, as good as this was, this moment of MJF signing, and you think, oh, where's the double cross going to happen, right? Like, who's going to come out? Like, oh, are they going to finally book Wardlow on something, right? Like, something big's going to happen. Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes show up to fuck this up. Oh, my God, folks. I'm sorry. Okay, I know Dustin is like a beloved member of the AEW roster. Sammy Guevara is like that fucking dramatic motherfucker that people really don't like, but he's talented. You want to talk about a really good segment and an angle that, again, a lot of people I've seen have been like, fuck, this has been going on too long. And while I definitely do agree with that in a lot of ways, I think that they can make this thing work and draw it out. But not with Sammy Guevara and fucking Dustin Rhodes, okay? This is not what anyone asked for. This is one of those things where it's like, Tony, stop giving Dustin Rhodes shit in 2025. Listen, I know he wants to keep wrestling. I get that. Put that motherfucker on ROH. Do not put him on AEW again. And the other thing about this promo, Dustin is just like fucking whining and crying, and we did this and we earned that. Fuck. And for one, I mean, most people didn't see it. I haven't even addressed the Collision disaster. The last 30 minutes getting cut off live. Guys, listen, for one, two things about it. Shit's going to happen. It's happened for WWE. Trust me. I know because I remember. WCW, of course, 400 times because they're a bunch of fucking idiots. But here's the thing. Do you people really believe yourselves when you go online and you say that because you missed the last 30 minutes of Collision, you're going to quit watching a wrestling company? Fucking relax. Okay? Number one, relax. You guys, you want to talk about babies. The modern wrestling fan, I'll just go there, all right? I'll be a boomer real quick. Some of you fucking people are such babies. If you fucking people would have had to have waited till 3 a.m. on every third Saturday to watch ECW, you would not give a fuck about wrestling ever again. That's some shit that's a little warranted. And by the way, what did you miss? You missed fucking Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara wrestle. So you missed nothing, okay? And the main event, okay, it was good. I'll give it that. Wheeler, Yuta, and fucking Powerhouse had a good match. But is this the end of the world that you missed it? Trust me, guys, it really is not, okay? It really is not. So fucking pull up your britches a little bit. Maybe just chill. Maybe get a fucking juice box. Holy fuck, the amount of like on the ledge posts I've read this week about a fucking show that not too long ago all these haters wanted to call a BC show. All of a sudden it's so important to you people. Interesting. Anyway, back to fucking unimportant. Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes, the Ring of Honor World Tag Champs. Another thing, should have dropped those belts to the Righteous. I'll go there as well. And even after they left, you should have dropped them to anyone else. This segment takes a screeching halt. The crowd fucking stops, doesn't care. Guevara never says a word here. I don't understand. Like, he's like forever in the cuck chair. I don't understand what Sammy did. I know he's a little shit stirrer, but like, my God, it's pro wrestling. Does the guy really, is he that bad of a guy that you're just putting him in the cuck chair forever in his fucking career in AEW? My God. And Dustin Rhodes is speaking for him. That is tough work in 2025. But what is not tough work is Okada and Speedball confirmed for Double or Nothing. I will have more thoughts on that later. But the next match on the docket, I was surprised with, because I really enjoyed it, was Anthony Bowens against Ricochet. Ricochet, one of the very best heels in the business today. Unbelievable work this guy's doing. He made Zach Gowen in 2025 important last week. Incredible shit. This was really no different. This was a really, really good ass match. And Ricochet is so good at just working everybody to their best ability. You know, he doesn't go in there and eat guys up. And granted, he's not a big enough guy to really do that. But I mean, even with Zach Gowen, a guy that he easily could have done that with, he did not. He's that old school, you know, it's weird to say a guy like Ricochet is old school, but in a way he is in his thinking of he's a bumping heel. You know, he's going to go in there. He's like an NWA heel. I know I'm watching a lot of WCW from Crockett to Chaos, so fucking bear with me on some of these analogies, but he really is. He's like a Tully Blanchard-ish guy in the sense that he'll go in there and bump his fucking ass off for you, but he'll beat you. And that's exactly what this was. Anthony Bowens fucking whooped his ass. Ricochet was always in the match, of course, because it is a glorified job match. I love you, Anthony Bowens, but let's just call it what it is. They're not doing shit with the guy. I don't get why, but they're not right now. So Ricochet's doing his shit. Here comes fucking Bowens to counter the fucking spirit gun. He goes for his shit. And Ricochet does the douche thing, rolls out of the ring, gets those scissors, smacks Bones in the head with them, gets the fucking win. He's running out of there like, ha ha ha. No, no, no. Behind him is Mark Briscoe with a stretcher. Whoops his ass, gets him on the stretcher. Here comes the froggy bow from the ring to the floor, but he rolls away like a bitch again. For a match that was hot shotted onto the card, I'm super fucking excited for Mark Briscoe and Ricochet in the stretcher match, because these are two elements that I know can fucking deliver. They've had great matches with everybody as of late. It's like, fuck, anybody in the company, if they've wrestled Ricochet or Mark Briscoe, they had a great match with them. That was incredible. And then next we had another great moment, the sit down in the ring with Renee between Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter, much in the same vein as Ospreay and Hangman's little shindig earlier. Little different. We get into, Hayter just talking about, like, straight up, hey, you're talking all tough and everything, but, like, hey, didn't you just lose the New Japan Strong Women's title? And Mercedes is like, nah, bitch, nah, I'm not that one. And fucking smacks Jamie in the face really fucking hard out of the director's chair that they're sitting in. And the ass whooping starts here. And then out comes Timeless Tony. And man, they are really doing a great job of milking Monet versus Timeless. They know that that's going to be money down the road. I'll get into later what I think they're going to do when we get into the Double or Nothing breakdown. But, yeah, this was great. And then, of course, Tony's coming to the ring to go under commentary, which, of course, she is fucking money on. She was again for the Julia Hart Mina Shirakawa match. This was really, really good. Julia Hart has gotten much better. I feel like, and I was very vocal about, I thought that match at Dynasty that she had with Mercedes was a bit of a mess. I thought that a couple of the matches she had before that match were a bit of messes. And so she clearly believes the same thing. And as she has, gone on from that match forward, she has gotten much better. And Mina Shirakawa, unbelievable worker. For people that think that she's just this, like, cute girl gimmick, oh no, she busts ass. She's been busting ass in Stardom for years. And so she comes into AEW very well polished, and she showed that here. She was very good all over the place for this thing. And Julia Hart was there as well. A lot of counters, a lot of glorious driver attempts that Hart was there for. Fucking moonsault misses. I mean, they go there. They went there, and it was great. At the end of the day, though, of course, Mina Shirakawa with the win. Long after, Sky Blue returns. Well, not returns, but she returns as an ally for Julia Hart, which I like. I like that they didn't change that, right? Like, she should be allies with Julia still. She is here. I think that's smart. Sky Blue is a heel, much smarter with their division right now. Toni Storm, of course, saves Mina, and that's when, of course, we have the moment with Mina in the title. Very exciting, but that is not the end of Dynamite. We have a little deal in the back with Renee and the Young Bucks, and that just ends up being a brawl. Everybody starts brawling all over the fucking building, and the end of it is this right here, where Swerve and Omega will put on two different tables. The Young Bucks put them through those tables together, and Gabe Kidd stands above Kenny Omega. This is for the crowd that wanted to tell me that it made no fucking sense that Gabe Kidd is here. Yes, it does. Gabe Kidd was embarrassed on the biggest stage in his mind in wrestling, the Tokyo Dome, the January 4th show, by Kenny Omega. Okay? So all of you people that think like, well, what? Come on, he was just wrestling the Bucks. Well, remember, they did have a moment after that match of still a little bit of respect. They didn't like dap it up or anything, but they definitely looked at each other like, all right, we see you. That was a great match. I think people forget the details way too much in wrestling today. I think we have been way too trained to ignore little things because they usually don't matter in wrestling today. But in AEW, they do. And I think that's where people get confused about this they don't tell stories bullshit or things don't make sense. This makes complete fucking sense. He hates Kenny Omega more than any human being on earth. He was made to look like a fool. He beat him so bad he was bloody and still lost. This is perfect for what they need. Granted, yes, there's injuries. I know what happened, right? I know why they got there. Of course, it's not like this year-long plan, but because they planted a seed, they now have a sprout they can use, right? And that's what this is. And I fucking bravo to Kenny, but bravo to Gabe, bravo to Tony for being like, hey, a lot of companies wouldn't do this because they'd be like, well, this and that. Let's fucking go there. It's Anarchy in the arena, too. This wouldn't be the first time. Do people forget that weird all-in one in London? It was like Best Friends and fucking Proud and Powerful were tagging. You want to tell me that makes fucking sense? Come on, guys. Relax a little bit. Tonight, though, what a show. Mercedes wrestling against Reina Isis. And I don't know a lot about Reina Isis, but from the highlights, she looks like a really good luchadora. I'm very excited for a entertaining television bout. We got Paragon against Grizzled Young Vets. I'm a fucking huge mark for the Grizzled Young Vets, by the way, and I'm unapologetic. I really hope this ends up with them winning and being utilized on proper AEW TV more, because they're just sort of sitting in limbo for AEW, and I think that's ridiculous. They need this tag division strong. If you're going to have Hurt Syndicate with the belts and you're going to push them like this matters, you need guys for them to wrestle, and I'll go there. I'm not a big Paragon person. I could go with or without it, and I'd probably go without it. We've got the contract signing. FTR will wrestle Daniel Garcia and Nigel fucking McGuinness. I expect a lot of fuckery here. I expect a lot of excitement. Nigel, one of the very best of all time. They keep sort of tinkering with him coming back. I really do hope he gets a little run. If it's not extended, I would love at least a year, 6 months of him being at least a semi-regular wrestler again. I think he has a lot left in the tank. I think his own self-esteem gets in the way from what I've seen and read about him, and it's a shame. It's a big deal that they got him back in the ring for this one. We'll see what ends up happening. I don't know if Daniel Garcia doesn't just turn heel on his ass. We'll find out. Kyle Fletcher one-on-one against Jay Lethal. This one will be phenomenal. Jay Lethal, a guy that, is a sleeper great in this business. And Kyle Fletcher, Jesus, he's not a sleeper anymore. He's a top guy in AEW. And I mean, that's just the facts. Whether they know it yet or not, and I think they do, Kyle Fletcher could have a great match with a broomstick. And fortunately for him, Jay Lethal is much more than a broomstick. So this will be great. Commander returning to AEW. There was a lot of questions on him, visa issues, all that stuff. We found out that he was working CMLL shows. Now we see, I guess it was a visa issue. He is back. He is tagging with Speedball against Roosh and Dralistico. Holy Lucha Gods. This will be phenomenal, but those Lucha Gods are not done yet. We'll get to that in a second. But we have Josh Alexander against AR Fox. Holy fuck. This is like banger collision tonight. Unbelievable match. I'm super high on Josh Alexander. I will say this. Let the man come out with the Maple Leaf Pro Canadian title. That thing's beautiful. It shouldn't be just sitting on a shelf and fucking defended every third month. I don't know what's going on with Maple Leaf. I wish they would be a little more regular with the fucking booking. I'm excited. I like what I've seen. AR Fox, I mean, he's Benjamin Button. I don't understand how this guy's been in the business for like 20 years and looks what he looks and does what he does. He defies gravity and time, but this will be great. I expect it to be a lot like the Speedball Blake Christian match from last week, where it was a great bout, but it really kind of just ended up being a glorified squash for 10 minutes. But that's fine. Sometimes that's what's needed. Keep Josh Alexander hot. I get it. And then we get back to the Lucha goodness. The CMLL Trios match. Volador Jr., Magnus, Ruggito against Mascara Dorada. Templario, huge mark for Templario from New Japan, and Mystico. This will be phenomenal, but of course, all roads lead to Double or Nothing. And what a card it is. Of course, we got Hurt Syndicate, Sons of Texas. I expect that to be a beatdown. Hurt Syndicate get the win there. Ricochet, Mark Briscoe in the stretcher match. I mean, I love Mark Briscoe to death. I expect this to be a war. Ricochet's winning this one. I think they're going to keep the heat on him. Kazuchika Okada, Speedball Mike Bailey for the Continental Championship. Another banger, one of the greats. I'd love to lean on draw, but they have played that card this year so far. I think Okada wins at the very last moment, and I think that would be a great little wrinkle. Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia against FTR. Expect this to be great as well. I just can't help but feel, though, that Daniel Garcia is turning heel here. I got FTR with the win. Mina Shirakawa challenging Toni Storm for the World Women's Championship. I think Toni keeps the title, but I think Mina shocks the world and gets a lot of people talking, much like with Harley Cameron earlier this year. Mercedes Moné, Jamie Hayter, Owen Hart final. Here's what I got. This is what I'm thinking. I think Jamie Hayter gets the win here, either because Athena returns and costs Moné the match, or she just straight up beats her. Either way, we're getting Athena Mercedes at All In. We get Jamie Hayter, Toni Storm for the World Women's title. Anarchy in the Arena, Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, the Ops, and Willow Nightingale. We're getting a mixed Anarchy this year. I love it, against the Death Riders and the Young Bucks, along with, of course, Gabe Kidd in the mix there as well. I expect a lot of fuckery, of course. This will be violence. This will be greatness. I mean, I can't even imagine what they've got planned for Glendale, Arizona. I think we're going to get some returns here. I think Eddie Kingston returns here. He's been very active on social media. It just kind of makes sense. I don't know which side he joins, though. I keep thinking Eddie Kingston with the Death Riders at the end could be interesting. He's also such a great heel, but man, the people love Eddie Kingston, so I don't know. I could see a Jack Perry return. There's a lot of people that could come in here. Either way, I do think we end up with Team AEW with the win. I think Death Riders doesn't need it. The Young Bucks don't need it. And it fits the narrative of Death Riders losing a little bit and get that slide going, get people to really believe in that next big baby face. And that leads us to what I do believe will be the main event. Will Ospreay against Hangman Adam Page. I believe we get Will Ospreay winning this match and going on to face Jon Moxley for the title. I think, I'll say this, either man winning will make sense. It'll be great. I just don't know what it is. I think they're going to go with the Hangman gets so close, but still so far away. Will Ospreay gets his match at All In. I mean, he's been selling this thing so hard, but then on the other side, right? Because he's been selling so hard, does he not just do the same thing? Maybe we see an unhinged Will Ospreay. We haven't seen that yet in AEW. That's some good wrestling is what that means, folks. And that is what I have for you. We've done it. We are back in the fold. Very excited for Double or Nothing. Thank God somehow I have Memorial Day off, so I can watch this with no guilt at all on my sleep schedule. Hopefully for all of y'all, it'll be the same. And if not, hey, it's one of those shows. I think maybe gutting it through will be worth it. So with that, I say thank you for tuning into the show. Thank you for supporting the show. Until next time, just be nice to people, all right? Maybe that's what we need to start doing.